Hello, it's Jim Hutchins for the Jerusalem Connection Truth Report for this week. Following the election of Benjamin Netanyahu in Israel, there are a number of articles that have been written. But I want to quote from an article by Ryan Jones of Israel Today. Israel Today is a magazine, news magazine, that's headed by Messianic Jews. And they give us a perspective here that you won't see anyplace else as far as the results of this election. Jones says this: Benjamin Netanyahu has once again emerged as the man destined to lead Israel into the near future. One of the major criticisms leveled against Netanyahu going into Tuesday's election is that he routinely acquiesced to far too many of the demands of the ultra-Orthodox Jewish parties in his quest to cobble together majority coalitions. There's a coalition government in Israel. You have to have several. There are 39 parties there. Well, if Netanyahu's tapped to form the next government, and he's all but certain to be called upon to do so, the demands from the two Orthodox parties, Shas and United Torah Judaism, are likely to be exceptional in scope. And Netanyahu will have no choice but to comply. In other words, all those Christians and Messianic Jews who were hoping, for example, that Shas would not again be handed control over the interior ministry, and that the rabbinate's monopoly over marriage in the Holy Land might finally be weakened, can forget all about it. Netanyahu is going again to support the draconian policies of these parties because he can't forge a ruling coalition otherwise. In fact, neither side can. The ultra-Orthodox parties again find themselves as the true kingmakers. If Netanyahu rejects the demands of the Orthodox, he won't be able to put together a majority coalition. Simple as that. And all those Israelis who voted for the center-left, blue and white, faction are wrong if they think this is solely a Bibi problem. Netanyahu might be more amenable to ultra-Orthodox demands, but he's not alone in being compelled to accept them. Were Netanyahu to take the unprecedented step of refusing part or all of the Orthodox conditions and therefore finding himself without enough seats to form a majority coalition, blue and white party would be tasked with trying to do so. But they too would need to court Shas and UTJ, without whom, like Netanyahu, blue and white wouldn't be able to present a stable government. Whether it's Netanyahu or Benny Gantz, who's the leader of the blue and white party, either potential prime minister is going to rely on the ultra-Orthodox to make up at least 25% of the coalition, meaning Shas and UTJ have the leverage to demand pretty much whatever they want. The only conceivable way to avoid a scenario such as that, in which the ultra-Orthodox wield so much power, would be for Netanyahu's Likud party and Gantz's blue and white to form a national unity government. A unity government is highly unlikely. It's not going to happen, given the vitriol both parties slung at one another during the election campaign. I want to respond to this by noting that the condition, the plight of the Messianic Jews in Israel is not up to the government. Their future is up to God. It's God who will grow and prosper the Messianic Jews there. Paul says this in Romans 9:27. He says, Isaiah cries out concerning Israel, and this is from Isaiah 10:22. He says, though the number of Israelites be like the sand of the sea, only a remnant will be saved. Only a remnant. That means all Jews, all Israelis are not going to be saved. Only a remnant. Now, what constitutes a remnant? It's estimated that there's some 20,000 Messianic Jews in Israel today. That's a small, small remnant. But God tells us in Revelation chapter 7 and chapter 14 that at least 144,000 will acknowledge Jesus as Messiah. That's yet to happen. That's a huge gap between 20,000 and 144,000. How will that take place? Jesus said that no man comes to me unless the Father who sent me draws them. John chapter 6, verse 44. So it's up to God to draw the remnant, to build the remnant. And how will we recognize the remnant? Jesus said this in Matthew chapter 23, verse 39, to the Jews in Jerusalem. He said, you'll not see me again until you say, blessed is he who comes in the name of Yahweh. Baruch haba b'shem Yahweh. Not Adonai, not Hashem. Those are titles. But blessed is he who comes in the name of Yahweh. That's how the remnant will grow. That's how we'll recognize him, that they will recognize that Jesus is indeed the manifestation, the earthly manifestation of Yahweh. We need to look for that, pray for that, work toward that, because that is the truth.